There are moments when no one else needs to hurt you, because the one you trusted most already did. You just wanted to speak your truth, but all you received was cold silence, or worse, words sharp enough to crack your heart. In this quiet war between two souls, the one who bleeds is always the one who feels the deepest. Have you ever been there? When all you wanted was for them to understand that their words, their actions, they hurt you. But instead of listening, they flipped the story, turned you into the villain, and so you ended up sad, angry, and somehow apologizing just to keep a relationship already breaking apart. That's the sweet, silent trap a narcissist sets for you. A subtle game of power where they make you doubt your own feelings, convince you that you're the problem. You're too sensitive. Why make such a big deal out of nothing? Sounds familiar, doesn't it? That's the language of manipulation. They don't want to understand you. They want to control you, but not today. Today, you stop being silent. In this video, we'll uncover the hidden tactics of narcissistic control, and more importantly, how to break free from them through awareness, through the quiet strength of your own soul. Stay until the end, because in just a few minutes, you'll see how to reclaim your peace, your power, and the light that was always yours. And if this speaks to you, share it, subscribe, because somewhere out there, someone is fighting the same silent battle, and maybe they need to hear this from you. From the very first story, we see it, a familiar pattern of emotional abuse. When someone does wrong, yet somehow twists it so you become the one to blame. That's gaslighting, a psychological manipulation that erases your reality, one subtle denial at a time. It starts so quietly. You say, "It hurts that you forgot my birthday." They reply, "Oh please, you're making things up. I've been swamped. Who remembers that kind of nonsense?" And just like that, you feel selfish, dramatic, while the one who hurt you stands calm, righteous, untouched. That's the classic move of a narcissist, making you doubt your own emotions, your own memory, your own truth. They never really listen. In their mind, nothing is ever their fault. They live in a world where they are flawless, so if you feel hurt, it must mean you're weak. You're too emotional. You're the one with issues. Some even hide their manipulation behind spiritual language. Maybe God is showing you what in yourself still needs healing. Sounds noble, doesn't it? But it's just another mask, a holy disguise for blame. In daily life, it becomes, "Oh, you're hurt, maybe you should look at yourself first." A narcissist knows how to disguise cruelty as care. They'll say softly, "I'm just trying to help, don't overreact." But beneath that calm tone lies a dismissal of your feelings, a label that says you're too sensitive so they can stand taller by pushing you down. They'll even reverse the story. The liar accuses you of dishonesty. The angry one lectures you about self-control. All to achieve one thing, to keep you defending yourself so you're too busy proving your innocence to see their manipulation clearly. And the moment you start explaining, arguing, doubting yourself, they've won. Not the argument, but your emotional balance. So pause. Take a breath. You're not crazy. You're not too sensitive. Your feelings are real. What's wrong is not that you feel, but that they refuse to. Someone who truly loves you will listen, will seek to understand, because they value connection more than control. But a narcissist, they only protect the illusion of perfection. Carl Jung once said, "Where love reigns, the will to power cannot exist. Where power rules, love is lacking." In a relationship with a narcissist, what reigns is not love, it's domination. It's a game where they must win, even if it means breaking you. So remember this. Every time they twist your words, every time they turn guilt toward you, they're testing your awareness, and every time you trust your feelings, you reclaim a piece of the power they took. You have the right to feel hurt. You have the right to be heard. Don't let manipulation cloud your truth. If they can't take responsibility and instead attack you, that's not love, that's control. Step away, because you deserve love rooted in respect, not fear. Have you ever wondered how some people can be so cruel, so calm, so unbothered, even after hurting you deeply? To understand that, we have to look inside their minds, into the crack that hides behind their charm, a crack called fear. For a narcissist, controlling the story matters more than the truth. They believe they're special, untouchable, always right. So any form of criticism feels like a threat to the fragile empire of their ego. And to protect that empire, they'll do anything. They'll twist words, rewrite reality, just to avoid taking responsibility. It starts with projection, the art of throwing fire, then pretending the burn came from you. When they lie, they accuse you of hiding things. When they're careless, they call you irresponsible. By shifting the blame, they make you carry the weight of their wrongs, and somehow you start to believe it's yours to bear. Then comes the mind-reading game. I know exactly what you're thinking. You just want to argue. You're doing this for attention. Harmless words on the surface, but sharp enough to puncture your sense of reality. You start to wonder, am I really like that? Maybe they're right. Soon you're exhausted, not from love, but from walking on eggshells. They don't just manipulate with words, but with endless demands, messages, questions, accusations, until you're too drained to fight back. You stay silent. You give in, just for a moment of peace. And in that moment, they win, because control has quietly changed hands. Then, they start to devalue you. Their voice shifts into that of a parent scolding a child. What do you even know? Be quiet. Listen to me. Each word cuts a little deeper, slowly carving away at your self-worth, until one day you start believing them. You think maybe you are lucky they've stayed, and when you push back, they deny everything. I didn't do that. You're overreacting. Their denial is so confident that you start to question your own memory. That's gaslighting, the rewriting of your mind until you can no longer trust what you feel. When words no longer work, they'll use anger, the slammed door, the raised voice, the stare that freezes your breath. You shrink, you shake, you forget what the argument was even about. But to them, that's victory. Because silence means control. And when the storm passes, they turn gentle again. A soft text, an apologetic hug, a small gift. I just lost my temper. You know you're the only one I love. You melt. You tell yourself, maybe they didn't mean it. And the cycle begins again. Pain, apology, hope, pain again. A golden cage, warm, familiar, and suffocating. They're masters of disguise, cloaking their cruelty in moral language. If you feel hurt, maybe God is showing you something inside yourself. It sounds enlightened, but it's manipulation dressed in wisdom. Because in their world, they are always right and you are always wrong. There can't be two truths, only a ruler and the ruled. Ironically, beneath all their arrogance lies a deep gnawing shame, a terror of being seen as small, weak, or flawed. And to keep that shame hidden, they push others down to feel taller. Your pain makes them safe. Your shame gives them power. It's not love, it's a war for dominance, a one-sided game where only control survives. Carl Jung once said, "Where love reigns, the will to power cannot exist." A person who truly loves will listen, pause, and try to understand you. But a narcissist doesn't love you. They love their reflection in your eyes. They love being admired, feared, worshipped. And if you're not careful, you'll become the mirror that sustains their illusion. But you can stop. You can put the mirror down. You're not wrong for feeling hurt. You're not weak for crying. You're simply human, honest with what you feel. Trust your intuition. Trust what your heart has witnessed. Even if they deny it, even if they rage, the truth remains on your side. Every time you say, "I will not accept the way you treat me," you reclaim a piece of your soul. You step out of their distorted reflection and finally see yourself, calm, whole, and worthy of love that doesn't hurt. When you hear the word narcissist, you probably picture someone loud, arrogant, always needing to be the center of attention. And you'd be right. That's the grandiose narcissist, charming, magnetic, the kind of person who walks into a room and somehow makes everyone look their way. They're confident, witty, captivating, but behind that brilliance lies a cold emptiness, because deep down, they don't truly see anyone but themselves. They can make you fall in love with their strength, but go numb when you need their empathy. And when you finally speak up, they'll say, "You're overreacting. Everyone loves me. You're the only one who doesn't get it." To them, your emotions are just background noise in a play where they're the main character. If you've ever been in a relationship like that, stay with me. Because in a few moments, you'll see what's really happening inside their mind, and even more importantly, inside yours. But not all narcissists are loud. Some come wrapped in quiet sadness, humble, wounded, soft-spoken. They make you believe they just need a little love to heal. They don't brag, they don't shout. They tell you stories about pain, about how unfair life has been. And you, with your kind heart, want to help them. That's the covert narcissist, the one who hides behind vulnerability. You give and give, but somehow you're always drained. They are an emotional black hole. The more love you pour in, the more they consume. They say, "You're all I have. If even you don't understand me, what's the point of living?" And suddenly, you feel guilty for not being gentle enough. So you stay. You try harder. You love deeper. But they never change. Because they were never really broken. They just built their story around being the victim. You're no longer the hero. You've become a side character in their tragedy. Then there are the moral narcissists, the saints, the saviors, the heroes of their own narrative. They do charity, help others, preach about kindness. The world praises them. But behind closed doors, they are storms made of silence. The man admired for helping children might be the father who freezes his own with cold eyes. The woman known for her devotion might be incapable of true empathy at home. For them, image is everything, not love, not connection. If you confront them, they'll say, "So many people are grateful for me. You're the only one who doesn't understand." Their morality is a costume, their compassion a prop. It's not about goodness, it's about being seen as good. Then there's the righteous narcissist, the perfectionist, the enforcer of rules. They live by discipline, and everyone else must follow. They can be fathers, husbands, bosses, cold, strict, convinced that control equals love. In their house, order matters more than peace. Their children grow up afraid to speak, to feel, to be. Because in their world, law matters more than love. And here's the cruel irony. Not all narcissists make you hate them. Some make you pity them. They cry. They tell you about their pain, their difficult past. You listen. You empathize. You stay. But one day, you realize you're being manipulated by your own compassion, because even when they cry, they never take responsibility. It's always someone else's fault, fate's fault, or yours. And when you leave, they vanish behind the smoke of their victimhood. What's terrifying is that these types can morph into each other. The grandiose can turn pitiful when they fail. The vulnerable can turn tyrannical once they gain control. But whatever the form, they all share one truth, a profound lack of empathy. They don't see you. They only see themselves reflected in your eyes. So don't be fooled by charm, by tenderness, or by the appearance of virtue. Listen to your body. Listen to your heart, because the heart never lies. If being with them makes you feel guilty, if you're constantly guessing when they'll explode next, if you have to shrink yourself just to keep the peace, then you're not being loved. You're being controlled. That unease inside you, it's not weakness, it's your warning light. It's the lantern in the fog showing you the way out. And once you see the truth, you no longer need to find a villain to blame. You just need to come home to yourself. Because sometimes healing doesn't begin by understanding them. It begins by understanding you, why you stayed, why you believed love meant sacrifice. And when you face that truth, the light starts to flicker, not to condemn, but to free you from their shadow and from your own. If these words resonate with you, share this video with someone who needs awakening. Leave a comment, tell your story. Because here, Every story is a seed of healing. And if you're ready to go deeper, subscribe and stay with us. Because in the next chapter, we'll journey inward to the child within and learn how to love again without losing ourselves. Many of us have asked ourselves, why did I stay so long? Why didn't I see it sooner? Looking back, you might blame yourself, call yourself stupid, blind, weak for letting someone manipulate you. But pause for a moment. You are not stupid. There are deep human reasons, psychological patterns rooted in our very survival, that make even the kindest, strongest, most intelligent people get trapped in the web of a narcissist. Because before we were adults, we were children, and every child wants just one thing: to be loved. From the moment we're born, we carry an instinct to attach. We need connection to survive. But what happens when the person we need is also the one who hurts us? That child cannot leave. So they learn to endure. To be loved, they must behave. To stay safe, they must stay quiet. Each time they're scolded or shamed, they don't think mom or dad is wrong. They think it must be my fault. And so they shrink. They bend themselves to fit the love they're given, a love with conditions. That's how the belief "I am not enough" takes root. When we grow up, that wounded child doesn't disappear. They live inside us, guiding how we love, how we stay, how we endure. So when someone we love hurts us, our first instinct isn't to leave, it's to ask, what did I do wrong? How can I make them happy again? That's not weakness, that's survival. It's the same instinct that once kept us safe in a childhood home that didn't always feel safe. Psychologists call it betrayal blindness. When we depend on the very person who's hurting us, our mind blurs the truth to protect us from the unbearable. A part of you knows what's happening, but another part pretends not to, because admitting the truth would mean facing a terrifying choice: stay or go. And leaving means loss of love, family, stability, the story you've built your life around. So your mind chooses to look away, just enough to survive another day. It's not weakness, it's evolution, a mechanism your brain created to keep you safe when danger came from someone you depended on. When that happens, the brain activates freeze mode. You go numb. You play along. You pretend nothing's wrong. Because once upon a time, that's what kept you alive. That's why so many victims of abuse say, "He's not all bad. He can be really sweet sometimes." They know the truth, but can't yet accept it, because to accept it means facing the question, why am I still here? Then there's cognitive dissonance, the clash between two opposing truths. He loves me, and he's hurting me. To ease the pain, you pick the version that hurts less. He's just stressed. Maybe I'm the problem. You patch the cracks in the picture until your hands are covered in paint. Meanwhile, the narcissist keeps feeding the illusion. They sprinkle moments of kindness, just enough to keep your hope alive. Then they gaslight you again. You're crazy. You're making a big deal out of nothing. And little by little, you start to believe it. They make you question your memory, your feelings, your worth. It becomes a loop. You get hurt. You fear losing them. You deny the pain. You try harder to please. They take more. And you hurt again. Round and round it goes, each time a little deeper, each time a little more of you disappears, until one day you no longer recognize the person in the mirror. It sounds hopeless, but seeing the pattern is the first step toward freedom. Imagine living in a dark room for years. When someone finally turns on the light, it burns your eyes. You want to shut it off. But if you let your eyes adjust, you begin to see the mess, the dust, the truth. And only then can you start cleaning, start reclaiming your space. Realizing the person you love is a narcissist is painful, but it's also the light turning on. It hurts, but it's real. It hurts, but it's necessary. Because it's the doorway back to yourself. You are not weak for staying. You loved deeply. You trusted. You gave your best. That doesn't make you foolish. It makes you human. It means your heart still works. The only mistake was giving your love to someone who didn't know how to hold it. So now that you see it, don't ask, "What did I do wrong?" Ask, "What did they do to me?" And more importantly, what kind of love do I deserve? Because you deserve love without fear, arms that hold, not control, peace, not punishment, a home where your voice matters. The most terrifying part of abuse isn't what they did to you, it's why you stayed. And sometimes that very question is the first door back to yourself. By now you've probably realized the problem was never you. It was the way they chose to treat you. So the question is no longer, why are they like this? But rather, how can I stay peaceful while I'm still in this relationship? Because not everyone can leave right away, and sometimes strength isn't in walking out, it's in protecting your peace while the storm still rages. There are small, quiet strategies that can help you slowly reclaim your power. 1. The DEEP principle. Don't go DEEP with a narcissist psychologist. Dr. Ramani Durvasula calls this the golden rule. Don't defend, don't engage, don't explain, don't personalize. When they attack you, remember, you don't have to prove anything. The more you explain, the more ammunition they get to twist your words. Sometimes, silence is the most powerful response. Choose to guard your energy. An argument with a narcissist has no winner, because they're not seeking truth, they're seeking emotional control. So, stay gray, be the gray rock, show no reaction, don't feed their chaos with your feelings. They thrive on your frustration, so your calm becomes your power. When they provoke, blame, or guilt trip you, see it as a toxic gust of wind passing through a forest. You don't have to fight the wind, just stand still and let it pass. Say less. Stop explaining. You can't be understood by someone who doesn't want to understand. You're not being weak. You're choosing to protect your peace from a battle that has no meaning, and above all, never let their words define your worth. When they insult or belittle you, remember, they're revealing their own emptiness, not yours. Their venom only works if you open your wounds to receive it. You can choose to close them. 2. Radical acceptance, seeing things as they are. Acceptance doesn't mean surrender. It means seeing clearly. You can't expect a blind person to see colors, and you can't expect a narcissist to show empathy. This truth is painful, but it frees you from false hope. You have every right to grieve, to mourn the version of love you wished existed. But stop waiting for their one day. The moment you stop hoping they'll change is the moment you begin to heal. 3. Reconnect with the world beyond the cage. There are people still waiting for you. Friends, family, souls who will listen without judgment or agenda. If you've been isolated from them, start gently reaching out. A text, a call, a coffee. Sometimes all you need is one person who knows the truth. One anchor in the storm to remind you you're not crazy, you're not alone. If possible, seek a trauma-informed therapist, not to fix you, but to help you see yourself clearly again, piece by piece, without blame. And don't drag the narcissist into therapy with you. They'll only use it to perform, to play the victim more convincingly. Keep this healing journey sacred, for you alone. 4. Relearning self-love. Start softly, gently. Ask yourself, what do I enjoy? And listen, even if the answer is simple, like a warm cup of tea in the morning. Every small act of kindness toward yourself is a drop of water for a soul that's been starved too long. Try standing before a mirror, look into your eyes, and whisper, I am enough. I am worthy of love. It's not vanity, it's replacing the cruel voice they planted in your mind with your own gentle truth. Inside, you lives a small child, the one who was once silenced and scared. They still tremble every time someone raises their voice. They still ache to be held without judgment. Now, you can finally be that person for them. Close your eyes. Imagine holding that child. Tell them, it's okay. I'm here now. You're safe with me. Even that simple act can begin to melt years of fear and shame. 5. Freedom is not a destination. It's a practice. If one day you're ready to leave, remember, freedom doesn't come in one giant leap. It comes in small steps, each one a quiet rebellion against the person who told you you couldn't. Freedom is waking up in the morning and no longer needing permission to be yourself. It's peace in the silence. It's not having to brace for someone's anger the moment your eyes open. Carl Jung once said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." When you face your own darkness, your fear, your shame, your longing, it stops ruling you. When you learn to love that child within, no narcissist on earth can ever hold power over you again. Because healing is not about leaving them. It's about coming home to yourself, calm, clear, and finally, free. My dear friend, if you're still here, still listening to these words, there's probably a wave rising inside you right now. A quiet tide of pain, release, and tenderness all at once. It hurts because you finally see how much you've endured. It feels lighter because someone finally put your feelings into words. And if tears are falling, let them. Tears are not weakness. They are the first drops of freedom. Every feeling you have right now deserves to be honored. The anger, the sadness, the regret. They're not against you. They're for you. They're the signs that your healing has already begun. The road ahead won't be straight. Some days you'll feel strong and certain, and then one morning you'll wake up with that familiar ache, missing the very person who hurt you. Don't be afraid of that. Healing isn't about forgetting, it's about remembering without breaking. Waves rise, then fall. What matters is that you never abandon yourself again. In the past, you forgave others while forgetting to forgive yourself. But not anymore. Now, stay with you like a loyal friend who never leaves. When the temptation to go back creeps in, remember why you started this journey. Because you wanted peace. Because you wanted yourself back. Remember the nights you cried quietly, the mornings you woke up heavy with doubt, the moments when their words made you question your worth. You don't have to relive those days. You've learned what you needed to learn. And that's what makes you stronger than before. Real love doesn't require suffering. A healthy relationship doesn't ask you to shrink so someone else can feel bigger. If someone needs you to be smaller for them to feel whole, that isn't love. That's possession, dressed as affection. One day, you'll see. After darkness, there is always dawn. Maybe today the light still feels far away, but it's there, waiting. Every small act you take, writing one honest line in your journal, calling a friend, pausing to breathe slowly, each one is a step out of the wound. Don't rush. Don't compare your healing to anyone else's. Some flowers bloom quickly, others take time. Even the lotus doesn't bloom overnight, and no one rushes it, because it always opens in its own season. So will you. You are already unfolding, even if no one sees it yet. Along the way, you'll meet yourself again. The child inside who has been waiting all along. You'll feel fragile, then fierce. You'll tremble, then rise. That's what being alive feels like. One day you'll wake up in the same room, but everything will feel different. No more fear of a voice beside you. No more tension before the day even begins. You'll open the window, let sunlight touch your face, and you'll smile. A quiet smile that says, "I made it." And you did. Because where the cracks are, that's where the light gets in. The wounds that once broke you will become the openings through which the light enters your heart. You won't just be okay, you'll be radiant in a new way, wiser, softer, deeper. Carl Jung once said, "I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become." You are no longer the victim of your old story, you are the author of the next chapter. And when you choose to love yourself, to stay present with yourself, the darkness begins to dissolve. Because in the end, healing isn't about erasing the scar, it's about looking at it with compassion. So trust this truth. You will be okay. You've always been enough, and you are finally coming home.